Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with another podcast. This time we are on the 65th edition of the Mr. Informal podcast. I go by Mr. Informal. Make sure to check out my website at mrinformal.com, mrinformal.com. And make sure to add me on Instagram. That's MISTERINFORMAL. So, we have 4 topics for the Mr. Informal podcast. So, the first topic is Facebook selling customer data to luxury brands. That's shocking. Number 2, New York City is taking care of fashion with their alliances. Number 3, exclusive Air Jordans. There are so many of them, and yet they don't feel exclusive. Number 4, Spotify suing Apple. It's going to be interesting. It's a lot of hypocritical statements from both companies. But those are the 4 topics for the Mr. Informal podcast. I hope you are doing well today. And it seems like it is a good day. It is a good day to talk about the Mr. Informal podcast. And so, let's begin. So, let's talk about Facebook. Facebook, the company that data mines customers' data and also sells them to customers, which is nothing new. But this is why I limit my logins and activities to Facebook. I don't even have Facebook on my phone. But apparently in recent news, Facebook is selling customer data to luxury brands, whether it be Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, whether it be Swarovski, whether it be Rolex, whatever it may be, just luxury brands. Now, luxury sector are not the only ones that are buying or purchasing these data. Obviously, there are other sectors out there, but I'm specifically talking about the luxury brands because I feel as though they don't need to. You see, whenever there's a luxury brand, everyone knows a luxury brand. Why do luxury brands need to buy data? They could easily just ask their customers or potential customers or new customers and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? There is no need for Facebook. There is no need for Google. There is no need for Instagram. There is no need for Twitter, even Snapchat. None of that. Whenever you become a luxury brand, you know your market, you know your customer, you absolutely know what your target demographics are. So, the only way you are going to purchase customer data is if you actually don't know what you want to produce in the future. That may be it. Or maybe you're struggling and your profits are not doing well and you want to know what customers are wanting or what new customers wanting. But is it really that complicated on what customers want or even what the consumers want? I mean, you would think that these luxury brands have a team of marketers and also people who translate certain customers' opinions and feedbacks and produce items. But apparently no. If they are purchasing data from Facebook, that lets you know that apparently they're not doing their job well and they don't know what direction to go to in the future. And it's interesting that now, I'm not saying that this is wrong. Obviously, if it's your company, you can buy whatever data you want. But I just can't believe that the luxury brands are going this low just to purchase data from Facebook in regards to customers, whatever customer that may be. Now, Facebook, don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of people posting luxury goods, their new purchases, their new hauls, whatever you want to call it, and call it a day. Sometimes they give their opinions, so and so, but do we really need to go there? I feel as though that if you're a luxury good, you know your own lane. Now, if they want to go 180 degrees or sideways, then fine. But these luxury brands should not be surprised if they fail. So sometimes just being on your own lane, just keeping everything in your own design is good enough to be relevant. But in these times, I guess you have to be radical, to be unique, to be eccentric, to bring something new, to innovate, quote unquote, whatever you want to call it, to maintain relevancy. Alright, for our second topic is a article from fashionista.com. Fashion retailers, nonprofits, and NYC government band together to divert clothing from landfills. Basically, certain groups and officials in New York City is trying to reduce the amount of carbon footprint of fashion, clothing, whatever you want to be. So companies like Reformation, ThredUp, and even the Ellen MacArthur Foundation and the New York Department of Sanitation are just a few parties involved. So one of the paragraphs in the article, according to the city of NY Department of Sanitation, New Yorkers send 200 million pounds of clothing, shoes, and bags to landfill each year. That volume is enough to make the waste problem a concern, not just for local city officials, but for anyone who cares about fashion's impact on the government. Unbelievable. But then again, I'm not surprised because of the population in New York City. So that's why the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, a British charity dedicated to advocating for a circular economy, decided to get involved. On Monday, the foundation announced a new campaign called #WearNext, while it's spearheaded by the nonprofit's Make Fashion Circular initiative, which is predicated on eliminating fashion waste by pushing for products that can be reused in their entirety in some other format after their initial use ends. It's ultimately a collaborative effort between brands, city, government, and non-profits. So basically, the campaign centers on a searchable map of the city that marks the 1,100 places where clothing can be dropped off for resale or recycling, from clothing stores to thrift shops to recycle centers. Well, it's not really done nothing new, but it is great to see that we have city officials, brands, and other charity foundation are ganging up together to reduce the waste of New York City. Not only that, I mean, you can resell it, you can recycle it, you can give it to charity, however you want to call it, but this is not fixing the problem, because no matter how much you want to reduce these, there's still people just spends a lot of money on fashion. That's all there is to it. And as the population grows, there will be more and more and more. We would need, I believe that reusing is not the answer. Once you buy it, what's the point? What if the other person doesn't like it? I mean, there will be someone who buys it, but again, you're just delaying the inevitable here. I believe that we need recycling centers. I'm not talking about shipping it off to another country, or I'm talking about recycling, meaning you gotta cut up the fibers, roll up the fibers again, and make it a thread again to use it as a thread to weave the fabric to make clothing. That's what I mean by recycling. It's actually breaking down the garment or the clothing to become threads, and then you color it however you want. Yes, it's more expensive, but that's the same thing as when you're making the fiber itself. You're also doing the same thing. That's the only way to actually fix this problem, is actually having a recycling center. But when it comes to these things, it's not really solving the problem. Not only that, everybody has to agree on try to wear less or actually buy quality clothing. Quality clothing is not cheap. I mean, it's reasonably priced, but at the same time, it is not cheap compared to other clothing brand out there. And I believe that by having an actual recycling center, this will solve the problem. But in regards to this initiative, I think it's great. This is a few small steps by having actual officials, city officials agreeing on this. That's good. But I cannot believe 200 million pounds of clothing. Man, it's about to be more due to the Marie Kondo trends that's happening as of right now. We'll see. Not only that, I would actually like to see when you resell something, I would actually want to see money given. You know, not just $5 or $10. Let's see it more than that. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of if you sell, let's say, Dr. Martens shoe, you only get $15 and then they sell it for $50. Are you kidding me? No way. But this initiative I think is great. Hopefully people can actually take advantage of this, and I would actually see New York City take the plunge here. By doing this, hopefully other states would follow. Alright, third topic for today. So in the press con of Elon Musk to present the new Y model, which is basically a car, which is a car that is run by electric and has 300 miles of fuel efficiency. So he also revealed that he had a custom Air Jordan 1, which had the Tesla logo on the front toe. So let's talk about exclusive Air Jordans. There's a lot of them now. It used to be just Spike Lee, but now you got celebrities, certain CEOs, certain other players in the other world, even other players from different leagues that are having exclusivity. I mean, how many more of exclusivity of Air Jordans there's going to be? Especially the Air Jordan 1. Yes, it's the shoe that started it all, but how many exclusive Air Jordan 1s there need to be? There needs to be more exclusive Air Jordan 11, 12s, 13, and 14s, which is, by the way, my favorite Jordan series in the Air Jordan lineup. So, as you know, that the Air Jordan trends has going downhill, which is pretty good. There used to be a time when you couldn't even get an Air Jordan at all because every release would be sold out, and I remember those. I was trying to get the Air Jordan 5 Grapes, but apparently it was sold out. So what can I do? But nowadays you can get an Air Jordan Grapes for no problems. And I was also lucky enough to get the Air Jordan 11 with the 4-5 number when it came out. So going back to the Air Jordan exclusivity. So the more people wear exclusive Air Jordans, the more downplayed they're going to be. No one's going to care anymore. No one's going to give it attention. No more likes. No more even dislikes. People just won't care. Because Michael Jordan feel that everyone should wear an Air Jordan, which, you know, it's pretty good. It's a business mindset. But at the same time, when you are diluting the market with so many exclusive Air Jordans, you are also reducing the value of the shoes. Not only that, the model of the shoe. Because everyone's going to expect, hey, there's limited edition. At the same time, customers are gonna get angry, stating that, hey, there's too many limited edition. Are they even limited at all? If a person can buy a limited edition Air Jordan, I mean, if everyone can buy it, should you call it limited? Is it a limited general release? That wouldn't make sense. Is it a limited time? I don't know. But these one-offs, 101, 1 out of 100 exclusive Air Jordans, I don't really care for them anymore. Because they're $200 or more, and yes, I'm just gonna wear them, but the quality isn't as it used to be. It's uncommon nowadays to find a good quality Air Jordan, even the exclusive ones. So, the last topic for today is Spotify suing Apple. So, in a recent antitrust complaint that Spotify filed against Apple in the European Commission, Spotify claims that Apple Store limit choice and stifle innovation at the expense of the user experience due to the Apple cut of 30% takes from purchases made through its system, and partly because Apple is both a player and referee. Referee meaning Apple owns the App Store. Player means Apple has Apple iTunes or Apple Music. Not only that, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek, he says, if we pay this 30% tax, it would force us to artificially inflate the price of our premium membership well above the price of Apple Music, which is what he's talking about. It is unfair because the competition is taxing me, which I don't have a choice but to increase the price. And if I increase the price, people won't like that and they will go to Apple Music. Not only that, he continued, if we choose not to use Apple's payments system, foregoing the charge, Apple then applies a series of technical and experiencing limiting restriction. Apple also routinely blocks our experience enhancing upgrades, which includes access to Siri, HomePod, and Apple Watch. Wow, that's a big deal. I mean, because if Spotify limit the experience of users, well, screw that. The users is gonna go to the other competition. So, Apple recently made a counter statement. They said that after using the App Store for years dramatically to grow their business, Spotify seeks to keep all the benefits of the App Store ecosystem without making any contribution to the marketplace. What contribution are they talking about? All they have to do is put the app and then that's it. What's Apple talking about here? Do any of these app makers make contribution to the App Store other than increasing the number of App Store? Anyways, so at the same time, they distribute the new music you love while making even small contribution to the artist. Okay, now this is getting something deep here. Artists, musicians, and songwriters who create it, even going as far to take these creators to court. Not only that, here's the thing about this, okay, when Apple made this statement. So, this week or recently, Spotify sued music creators after a decision by the US Copyright Royalty Board required Spotify to increase its royalty payments. And this is what Apple's talking about. Why would you come at me complaining about my 30% tax when you're paying the creators, the artists, even smaller? And you want all the cash for yourself. So basically, Spotify is in essence, doing the same thing as Apple is doing. So, where are we with these two companies? Obviously, Spotify is not going to take out their app from App Store. And Apple's not going to stop Spotify. because Spotify is making a lot of money for Apple. Basically, it's a dead end, and no one's gonna win. So what's the point? If I was Spotify, why not just go Android route? But they don't want to do that because they know that there's a lot of millions or even billions to be lost if they take out the apps from the Apple Store. So I think this is just ridiculous. And not only that, if Spotify is gonna complain about this, why don't they just fix their own problems first? And why would they sue music creators? Why? For what? So, I don't know why people like Spotify. I just keep my music locally in my hard drive, and I don't like streaming too much because too much data. Not only that, it reduces battery life. So, just looking at all the statements, again, there's no one's gonna win in this time. Now, it's just gonna be a lot of money wasting here, and I wish all that money could at least benefit the employees, but they won't. And so that basically concludes the Mr. Informal 65th podcast. Hopefully you learned something today. If you have any comments down below, let me know. And don't forget to check out my website at mrinformal.com, mrinformal.com, and on Instagram, misterinformal.com. I will see you in the next podcast. Bye bye.